Hey guys, it's me, Jenny, and I am painting a few mini zombies today for the IDTS show. So, I've got my beautiful zombie coloring ready to go. And I've got my mini zombies, 2 Clairs. One is for a giveaway at the show, one is for sale at the show. So we're going to go ahead and pop those out of the bag real quick. I'll just set them up so that they're about like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to paint everything except for the hands and feet this color. So we'll get our sponge ready. This is my zombie sponge. Babies are set, ready to go. We're going to mix up our paint a little bit. Go ahead and brush it off a little. Let me see if you can see better over here. See if you can see better. No, maybe not. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's a little better. What the heck? Why not? We'll try it over here. So we grab a little leg, and again we go everywhere except for on the actual foot. Just go ahead and go right around the little thighs, down the little leg. She's so tiny, so cute. So tiny and so cute. Once we get down that, don't mind my shaking today. We just dab away the excess paint, like so. Just like that. Again, with zombies, this doesn't have to be a perfect paint job. It just has to look good when it's done. It's the beauty of zombies is the paint doesn't have to be 100% absolutely perfect. You can mess up a little bit and have some fun while you're playing and not worry about, oh my god, did I get that right or whatever. It's not a big deal. And like I said before in some of my other videos, Genesis is really easy to get off. All you need is some acetone and it'll pop that right off. If all else fails and your thinner isn't taking it off, one can always use acetone. Just remember it's taking off everything, not just what that last layer was. It's going to take it all off. So just going to go over these little legs, and then I'll show you the legs compared to the other one's legs and show you after I get a layer done completely on this little body. Arms. Again, we don't do our hands. We're just doing the arms up to the wrist. That's as far as we're going to go with it. I like my zombies to have very blue hands with some red detailing, but not to have any skin tone on them otherwise. That's my preference with zombies anyway. So I don't know how you guys are doing, but I hope everyone's doing well. I know it's been a while since I made a video. I've been sort of busy. I got me a job and I've been enjoying it. Very much actually. It's fantastic, and I wish I could tell you more about that, but I can't right now. Got other stuff to talk about, like IDTS. Who's coming? Who's coming to the show in North Carolina next week? It's going to be so much fun, and I'm going to be there, and I can't wait to see all of you. Cannot wait to see all of you. I'm very excited. Very, very, very excited. Let's mix our paint up before we go back onto the head. Alright, let's get a little green going on our head. Anyway, so yeah, who's coming to IDTS? It's the International Doll and Teddy Bear Show. for anybody who doesn't know about it. It's super cool, and we're going to have a ton of fun. And I hope you come. I hope you come so we can all play together. I'm also not doing the lips or the inside of the mouth at all. So you know. So you know. With these tiny ones, sometimes you get it anyway. A little bit at least. You hear my oven going off. Those are my normal babies cooking. I got the preemies in the oven right now. Got the preemies in the oven right now. That sounds awful, doesn't it? I know. We have such issues. So with the skin tone that I'm doing with her, I'm going to end up doing probably 3 layers before I move on and add any detailing. It gives it a nice starting point where you can see between the two, it gives a much more pale, decrepit sort of skin tone. So that's what we are looking for, is something a little more decrepit. It's actually a good skin tone if you're trying to build up skin tones too. The green actually builds skin tone really well. It's just in this particular case, we don't need it to build up a full skin tone. We just need it to build up a zombie's tone. So we're going to add all kinds of details and stuff in after this is done. Okay, let's move on to the next one's legs. The next one's legs. Now, I'm going to bake in between layers because I don't want to ruin each layer of paint by moving it around again. You'll notice I don't always dip right back into the paint, especially on something so tiny, because I don't really need to. I tend to like doing an arm or a leg and then an arm and then re-dipping and then doing the leg and then the arm again, because the arms are a little smaller. And that's how I kind of do that. Usually. Usually, not always. Not always. So, we're gonna work on the skin tone. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing or what, but I think you can see a little better from this side than you could from the other. I'm quiet though today. Very quiet today. It's kind of one of those days, man. Just kind of one of those days. Here's the paint color I use, in case you didn't see it before. It's a green, like camo green coloring. It's my favorite to use for zombies. Is this? I call it decomposing skin green. Because it cracks me up. I'm talking quiet because my voice hurts, or my throat hurts. And on top of that, everyone's home, and I don't want to sound like a complete psychopath down here talking to myself. Although they all think I'm nuts anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm down in the basement painting zombie babies. Yeah. Sweet. You've long past gotten to nuts in everyone's eyes. We have long passed the crazy state. Alright, so we're coming in the home stretch of our first layer here, which is a nice one. I like it a lot. It's a beautiful coloring. I might add a secondary layer before I bake with the sponge by itself. So we might do that. I prefer not doing it, to be honest, because I don't really have to. I have time usually, but I don't have time right now, so I kind of got to make it work a little faster than normal. Last dip, and we move on to our head. Head number 2. As you can see, I just paint over the whole little head. Only things I leave open are the lips and mouth as far as color goes, and it's just, I can do it a little quick now. I suggest taking your time as you go past the lips and mouth. Make sure you get the little ears. You don't want to leave their ears off. You know? You want them to have little decrepit ears, right? We've got fuzzy. We've got fuzzy. One of the downfalls to working in your basement is the dust is horrendous in the basement. I can't wait to have a normal workshop. Someday. Someday I'll have a normal workshop. You know? I mean, I'm happy to have a space, to be honest, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. Alright, so there we go. We are about ready to bake these guys, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little, I guess they're doing laundry upstairs or something. And all of a sudden the whole house started shaking. I'm going to take a sponge that has a little bit of a, it's just pulled away, like it's got a little rocky edge to it. I'll load the sponge real well, and then I'm going to do another skin layer over top of what I've already done. It's going to add a little more texture to it. Same thing, avoid the feet. See how that gives a little bit of a textured look. Again, load your brush. Make sure your brush is loaded well when you're doing textures. Like a texture layer or stuff like that, because if your brush isn't loaded, you're not getting the full effect out of it, in my opinion anyway. I use a lot of different textures when I paint. A lot of different textures. I like texture. It adds to the realism, I think. And maybe it's more the artifact of it, I don't know. But I like it anyway. You can see I'm reloading the sponge every time I'm going to a different limb or a different piece. I'm reloading the sponge. Even on the arms are getting their own reload. Same thing as what we did before. Avoid painting over the hands, because we're going to leave that for later. Last but not least, we'll do the head on this one. We'll switch over to the other one. What'd I do? There we go. My nail got in it. As you can see that lovely texture it leaves. If you can see it, I wish you could. It leaves a beautiful texture over the skin. Especially with these tiny ones, it's hard to really use some of the bigger texture sponges we have that we make. I'll show you in a minute what I mean. It's hard to use them because the spaces in them are so big. Sometimes it's easier to use a small texture brush like this versus one like this. See the difference in size of the holes. It's just a lot easier to use a small texture brush instead. So we'll go over the other one real quick. Now these two I will finish up today. Just starting today as well. Starting from a blank kit. If you notice, I don't, when I'm doing almost any kit, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. Pretty much anything, unless it's like crazy pink or crazy orange, I do not neutralize. I just start painting and kind of build my color up from there, or pull it down depending on what I'm doing. I'm not a fan of neutralizing. It's just a personal preference. It has nothing to do with anything other than personal preference. It's just not something I find myself needing to do. So I don't do it. You knew? You knew? I know. Talking to myself again. So, again, we're just going to go over real quick. Got a little green on there. There we go. Had a little spot of paint, like a solid paint I had gotten on the one little arm. Had to knock that sucker out. There we go. Last but not least, we're going to go into our head, and then we are going to take a break while I bake. I bake at 10 minutes, about 260, 270 on my oven. It may be different for your oven. It probably is, actually. It's not even a maybe, it definitely is. Everyone's ovens are a little different, which sucks and is awesome at the same time because it always gives each of us a different effect when we paint, but that's our own personal thing, and unfortunately our ovens are our own personal thing too, because they do whatever they want to do. Alright, so there you have it. There's our little head. They're both ready for the oven. I can't do another layer over them until they get a baking, so I'll see you guys a little bit later for the next step. Alright, bye.